Hi, my name's Alison and I'm going to be talking you through how to add products onto Easify when you first get started. This is a brand new database, like if you've just installed it on your machine or you've asked us to set up a cloud server for you. As you've never used Easify before, there's going to be a few setups that you need to do before you can start adding your first product. So as you can see, there's some handy shortcuts along the left-hand side, of which we've got one here for products, and you can also access products from the top drop-down menu. So when we first click on the products window, it's going to ask us to set our VAT status. You can put this off for a little while, but not for very long, because it will need to know if your VAT's registered or not in order to add your products. So in this scenario, we're going to say my company is registered for VAT. Tick the relevant box and click OK. Again, if we click the products button, it's going to bring up the products window. And then when we go to try and add our first product, because it's a brand new database, it's going to say you need to do some basic setup first. So we need to add a manufacturer, a supplier, product categories and product subcategories. So first of all, we're going to add a manufacturer. You can put anything in here. I mean, if you don't really use manufacturers as such, you can add your company name, generic, unbranded, whatever you need to do here. For this scenario, we're just going to add 123 Manu, for short for manufacturer, and click OK. And that's one manufacturer added. If you needed to add more, you can add them in here. Again, now we're going to add our first supplier. You click here to add suppliers. The supplier window is more involved than the manufacturer window, so you can store more data about your supplier in this window as well. For this scenario, we're just going to put in the basics, which is just the supplier name, and we're going to call that XYZ supplier. Obviously, you know, you'd use a more sensible name than that in your scenario. And then once you've got your supplier added, close the window. Now you can see we've still got a couple of crosses here showing we need to set up our product categories and product subcategories. Easify works on a two-level category system. So you have every product has a category and a subcategory. Obviously, if you don't really use categories, it's not a problem. You can just have one category that you put all your products into and one subcategory. So you could just have a MISC category and put everything in there. Obviously, other businesses are going to want to itemize their products more extensively, so they're easy to find and they link to your website and that sort of thing. So we can't add the product categories from here, this window, so I'll have to click close. And then the categories will actually show here in this window over here. As you can see, we haven't got anything added yet, so you need to click on the Add New Product Category button and then add your first category name. In this scenario, we're classing ourselves as Easify Electrical, so we're kind of like an electrical supply company. So in this scenario, our category is going to be washing machines. You can add a default trade margin or default trade markup in these boxes. Same for the retail prices as well. That's just a percentage that's added onto your cost price to make your sell price that applies to each of these categories. In this scenario, we're going to choose 20% for the trade and 30% for the retail. These can be changed on each product as you go through, so they're not set in stone. You don't have to add them if you don't wish to here, but it's handy to do that so it saves you accidentally selling something at cost price. And then click OK. So that's our first category added, but now we need to add a subcategory. Because as I said before, Easify works on a two-level category system. So in here, we're going to add a subcategory of washer dryer. And again, you can see it's inherited our trade and retail margins and markups from what we did in the washing machine category. And here we'll click OK. So you can see we've got washing machines as a category and washer dryer as a subcategory. Because we've done everything that was on that original pop-up window, we've added a manufacturer, a supplier, a category and a subcategory. We're now ready to add our first product. I'm just going to show you the basics in this video, the minimum that you need to add in order to add a product onto Easify. There are many features in Easify that you can use if you wish, but this is just a video covering the basics. And I will be doing other videos to cover the more extensive areas that you might wish to use as well. So in this scenario, we're going to add our first project. We're going to call it a family washer dryer. We've only got one manufacturer added, so it's defaulting to whatever it is at the top of the list alphabetically. But if you had other manufacturers, you could select them from this list here. You could also add new manufacturers by clicking this button here. Again, we've only got one category, so it's selecting the one category, and we've only got one subcategory. We've only got one supplier, but again, if you had more suppliers and needed to select different suppliers, you would do this here. It defaults to whatever is alphabetically first on the list for each of these categories. Then we don't need to add any of this as a prerequisite, and then we move on to the pricing page. Here you need to add your cost price, so we're going to add our cost price is £100, and then you can see it's inherited the market margins and markups that we put in our categories when we first set our category up. You can keep these as they are, or you can change them as you see fit. You can change the margins, you can change the markups, you can change the retail price if you prefer, Inc VAT or X VAT, it's entirely up to you. All these can be adjusted for each product as you go. The next thing we need to do is we need to set our stock levels. You might be importing your stock levels when you're first setting up your products, if you're importing all your products into Easify, or you might be manually setting them. So here we're going to set a stock level of 5. And that is all you need to do as a minimum to get your products listed onto Easify. Once we click OK, you'll see that the product has been added and we've now got our first product on Easify. Well, I hope that's been useful. It's just a quick video to get you up and running and how to add your first products onto here. You can email us with any questions you might have to support@easify.co.uk. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.